Lirelei ran through the ancient forest with blood dripping from her shoulder. The wound burned like fire, but she could not stop. She had been running for 3 days without rest. Her legs screamed for mercy, but the information she carried was too important. The High Council needed to know what she had discovered. If she failed to reach them in time, everything would be lost. The capital city of Elinder appeared through the morning mist. Its white towers stood tall against the purple sky. Lirelei pushed her tired body harder. Guards at the gate recognized her silver hair and pale blue eyes. They opened the massive doors without question. She was the best spy in the kingdom. Everyone knew her face. She burst into the council chamber where the 7 elders sat around a crystal table. Queen Seraphina stood at the head, her ancient eyes widening at the sight of her wounded spy. The room fell silent. Lirelei collapsed to her knees, breathing hard. "My queen!" she gasped. "I bring terrible news from the enemy lands." Queen Seraphina stepped forward. Her long silver robe swept across the marble floor. "Speak, child. What have you learned about the Vorkith Empire?" Lirelei looked up with fear in her eyes. In her 500 years of service, she had never felt such dread. "They know everything about us. Our troop positions, our supply lines, our secret tunnels beneath the northern mountains. They have maps of every defensive position we have built in the last 1,000 years." Gasps echoed through the chamber. Elder Thandril slammed his fist on the crystal table. "Impossible. Our secrets are protected by ancient magic. No enemy could break through our wards." "They did not break through," Lirelei said. "Someone gave them the information. There is a traitor among us. Someone with access to our most protected knowledge." The council members looked at each other with suspicion. 1,000 years of peace had made them soft. They had forgotten what it meant to be at war. The Vorkith Empire had been gathering strength in the eastern darkness for centuries. Now they were ready to strike, and they knew exactly where to hit. Queen Seraphina raised her hand for silence. "How large is their army?" Lirelei swallowed hard. 2 million soldiers, my queen. They have war machines we have never seen before. Dark magic powers their weapons. They plan to attack within the moon cycle. The number hung in the air like a death sentence. The Elven kingdom had only 300,000 warriors. Even with their superior magic and longer lives, they could not fight against such odds. The council members began arguing among themselves. Some wanted to flee to the Western Islands. Others suggested surrender. Elder Morvain spoke of ancient weapons hidden in forgotten vaults. The doors to the chamber opened again. A young messenger entered with a scroll. "My queen, the human ambassador requests an audience. He says it is urgent." Several elders made sounds of disgust. The humans were a young race, barely 5,000 years old. They lived short lives and died easily. Many elves considered them little more than clever animals. Their alliance with the human kingdoms was purely political, a way to create a buffer between elvish lands and the enemy. "We have no time for humans," Elder Thandril said. "Send him away." Queen Seraphina shook her head. "No, let him enter. The humans share our border with the Vorkith Empire. They have a right to know what comes." Ambassador James Chun walked into the chamber. He was a small man by human standards, with dark hair turning gray at the temples. His eyes were sharp and quick. He moved with the confidence of someone who had seen many battles. Unlike most humans who cower before elven beauty, he met the queen's gaze directly. "Your Majesty," he said with a short bow, "my government has received reports of enemy movement. We came to warn you, but I see you already know." "We know more than you think," Elder Thandril said coldly. "We know the enemy has complete intelligence on our kingdom. We face destruction." James nodded slowly. "They have intelligence on your kingdom, yes, but do they have intelligence on ours?" The question caught everyone off guard. Lirelei lifted her head from the floor. In all her spying, she had focused on what the enemy knew about the elves. She had not thought to check what they knew about the humans. Your kingdom? Elder Morvain laughed. What could your kingdom possibly offer? Your soldiers live barely 80 years. Your magic is primitive. Your weapons are crude iron and steel. James smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Yes, that is what everyone thinks about us. That is what we want everyone to think. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small device. It looked like a polished black stone. He pressed something on its surface, and suddenly light erupted from it. Images floated in the air above the council table. The elves gasped and stepped back. This was not magic they recognized. What you see, James said, is our true military capability. We have kept it hidden for 3,000 years. We let the other races believe we are weak, because weak nations are not seen as threats. No one spies on the powerless. The images showed massive metal ships flying through the sky. They showed weapons that shot beams of light capable of destroying mountains. Soldiers in armor that made them strong as giants marched in perfect formation. Underground cities stretched for hundreds of miles, filled with factories building things the elves could not understand. How is this possible? Queen Seraphina whispered. Humans live short lives, James said. This is true. But short lives make us hungry. We do not have centuries to perfect a single sword technique. We must innovate constantly or die. Every generation, we build on what the last generation created. While your people spent 1,000 years mastering one spell, we invented 10,000 new technologies. Literally stared at the floating images. She had spent centuries watching humans. She had seen their dirty cities and their constant wars. She had reported them as no threat. She had been completely wrong. The enemy knows nothing about this? She asked. Nothing, James confirmed. The Vorkith Empire has spies everywhere, but they only find what we want them to find. Simple villages, primitive weapons, foolish kings fighting over small pieces of land. They do not know about our hidden cities. They do not know about our real army. Elder Thandril looked troubled. Why reveal this now? Why help us at all? We have not treated your people kindly. James put the device away. The images disappeared. Because the Vorkith Empire will not stop with your kingdom. They want to rule everything. If they destroy you, they become too powerful to stop. We need you to survive. But more than that, we want to prove something. Prove what? The Queen asked. That humanity is worthy of respect. We are tired of being seen as lesser beings. We are tired of being ignored in councils and dismissed in treaties. After we help you win this war, things will change. We will be equals. The council was silent for a long moment. Queen Seraphina looked at her advisors. The fear in their eyes had changed to something else. Hope, perhaps. Or at least the absence of complete despair. What do you propose? She asked. James spread a map on the crystal table. The enemy expects you to defend your known positions. They expect you to use your known magic. They do not expect anything from us except easy targets. We use this against them. Your armies make a visible retreat. Draw them deep into your territory. Make them think they are winning. Then we strike from behind with everything we have. A trap, Lirale said, using their knowledge against them. Exactly. They know everything about you. They know nothing about us. In war, surprise is the greatest weapon. The planning took 3 days. Elven mages worked alongside human engineers. Ancient spells merged with strange technologies. The elves learned that human science could do things their magic could not. The humans learned that elven magic could enhance their machines in ways they never imagined. When the Vorkith army crossed the border, they found exactly what they expected. Elven forces fell back in panic. Villages burned. The dark soldiers laughed as they advanced. Their commanders checked their stolen maps and sent troops to block every escape route. Everything was going according to plan. Then the sky caught fire. Human warships appeared from behind clouds that had hidden them with elven illusions. Beams of energy tore through the enemy ranks. Soldiers who thought they were chasing a broken army suddenly found themselves surrounded. The hidden tunnels they planned to use were already filled with human soldiers wearing enchanted armor that made them invisible to dark magic. The Battle of the Silver Plain lasted 12 hours. 2 million enemy soldiers faced 300,000 elves and 200,000 humans. When it ended, the Vorkith Empire had lost everything. Their generals were captured. Their war machines were destroyed. Their invasion force was broken forever. Lirelei stood on a hill overlooking the battlefield. James Chun stood beside her. The morning sun was rising, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. "I spent 500 years watching your people," she said. "I thought I knew everything about you. I was completely blind." James laughed softly. "That is our greatest trick. Humans are very good at being underestimated. We have had lots of practice. What happens now? Now we build something new. Elves and humans together. Your wisdom and our drive. Your patience and our hunger. Think of what we could accomplish." In the weeks that followed, Queen Seraphina signed a new treaty with the human kingdoms. It was not like the old treaty, where elves ruled and humans obeyed. This was a partnership of equals. Human ambassadors sat in elven councils. Elven scholars studied in human universities. The two races began to learn from each other properly for the first time. Lirelei became the first elven ambassador to the hidden human cities. What she saw there changed her understanding of everything. These short-lived creatures had built wonders that put elven achievements to shame. Not because they were smarter, but because they never stopped trying to be better. Every failure made them stronger. Every death made the survivors more determined. She wrote in her final report to the queen, "We have lived for thousands of years, yet we have been sleeping. The humans have been awake the whole time, building, dreaming, reaching for things we never imagined. They are not lesser beings. They are different beings. And perhaps, in some ways, they are greater than us. Not despite their short lives, but because of them. They know they have limited time, so they waste none of it. We could learn much from them if we humble ourselves enough to try." The war with the Vorkith Empire ended that day on the Silver Plain. But something else began. Something that would change the galaxy forever. The alliance between elves and humans grew into an empire that spanned 1,000 worlds. And at its foundation was a simple truth that one young race had taught an ancient one. Strength is not about how long you live. It is about what you do with the time you have.